I think it'd be great.
It actually would be an interesting idea. Now, admittedly, what I would give the programmers and that, they would have to put more effort into programming such features. But it is possible. It is indeed possible to do that. But I don't see a lot of the companies doing it unless somebody, like a really big sink of customers, really convince them to do that.
Yeah, but...
Because as pig-headed as some of the CEOs that, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came up and said that idea to them, they'd be like, "Where the fuck would I do that? That's just waste time. I don't need my fucking programmers wasting all the fucking precious time on no DLC." Oh, did I say that out loud? Oops. Get the fuck out of my office. But
yeah, I just think more choices would be great for the consumer. Indeed, I definitely agree with this. But saying like, oh, it's a PC thing or it's a console thing, I think that kind of argument might have some relevancy in.
I would say it's unusual to see that kind of option on the console. But it would be interesting to see it more, to be honest.
It would be very interesting. I think I would be happy to see it more, and if I own a PS4, but very similarly, like going back to the topic of PC and consoles, like as you mentioned, like programming, and I don't know programming, and I know frame rates, so, but I do think it'd be great. It'd be a great thing. I would love to see it. Like my brother I got a PS4 for my brother, even though he paid for the shipping. And yeah, I think my brother would definitely benefit from that if he wants a better frame rate, and he can have it.
Well, what I was saying with the programming, like I said before, that I don't usually like to strongly make claims or anything unless I'm more aware of what I'm talking about. So what I meant is, since I'm not a programmer, I'm not saying this is fact, 100% true, or this is the reality of the situation, so shut the fuck up. Like,
I see. Yeah, I was slightly confused by that. Now I understand.
I'm saying that this is what I heard from a programmer of some company that says this is generally, at least in his company side, how the whole graphics versus frames kind of thing. I think Total Biscuit kind of talked about one time before too. I think
he might
how
have.
some
and
companies
in terms of graphics,
do that.
I do believe like back in the PS3 days, that was a big deal. Really good graphics, like in the PS3 and 360 era. But the thing is, on PS4, now people want 1080p gaming at 60 frames a second. They don't want 30. They want 60.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not possible. As much as the PS4 is a good system, and so is the Xbox One, and technically also the Wii U, depending on the game, it's not technically possible. Funny enough, I have Super Smash Brothers running in the background with my Amiibos, and that's something that really impresses me. Like, most Nintendo games on Wii U run at 60 frames a second, and I honestly am...
Yeah, I remember somebody saying, like, it's funny that the Wii U actually has more fun. And I think the thing there is it's kind of that whole thing I was talking about from the... I really wish I could remember who the fuck that guy... It was just a random video I came by. I'm not even subscribed to the guy. It was a random video I came by.
Yeah, whatever they've done with Super Smash Brothers, I'm not sure if it's texture quality, because texture quality for the Wii U looks alright. It looks okay. Here and there it's kind of blurry. But the game runs like 60 frames a second all the time. There's a lot of stuff going on. And for a Wii U title, it's exceptional.
But
I've played other games like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. That game's at 60 frames a second. And honestly, I would prefer it that way because it controls better.
Yeah.
It's more responsive. And for a fighting game, you have to agree that if you're Tekken with
fighting games, the flame thing is definitely a very important factor. I mean, usually a lot of other games, you can argue that very quick, like, usually FPSs and fighting, like, very competitive, fast-paced stuff, frames benefit more from. Some, like, I say
frames benefit every single game, except text game, because text game...
Well, I meant, like, in the controller input way is what I meant.
I also say that every single game would play better at a higher frame rate. Doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't matter if it's
I
first
mean, it
person
would.
shooter or fighter.
would
A
what's
platformer
the?
would play
I'm trying
better.
to think of the word. It
Other,
would be more. What's proper term I'm trying to think of here? That's more beneficial because it's in a competitive sense of that. But
well,
I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't help. I'm not saying it wouldn't help anything else, but I'm saying it's something that has literally will split second decisions can change like what you're doing, the match, who's winning, and that it's more beneficial towards that versus say like playing Warcraft 2 with someone.
yeah, I can kind of agree that the higher frame rate may be beneficial during a competition, but if we just
Looking wise, yeah, it would still improve it, but I mean, like, as in split second decisions of victory, I wouldn't see as huge of a. Oh my goodness, I lost my entire base in Warcraft 2 in 2 seconds because of the frame rate kind of
honestly,
thing.
yes, it actually wouldn't matter in Warcraft 2 because if you want to activate certain skill points, it would actually activate faster, respond faster on a 60 frame monitor. Like if your game runs at 60 frames during certain events, you'd be able to have twice the speed of the input because of the higher frame rate. So you would definitely get a benefit from that. It's not just from competition; it's basically for any setting.
True.
Even just looking around or like clicking on things, it would just respond better. You would benefit no matter the circumstance.
True.
But
then maybe what I would say then is it's more noticeable than probably because it's in split seconds as opposed to more drawn out, dragging and clicking around.
well,
in
I'm not
like
saying dragging and clicking around. I'm saying for any button press.
I'm
really.
just saying.
So it's the same concept, just not in the same environment. It's the same split-second decision thing, and you can do it faster, but just not in the same context. But it's the same thing. So I think any genre, any game benefits at 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
And like that's why I love 60 frames a second so much. I don't think like after playing a game on PS3 at 30 and then going to 60 frames a second, it played so much better on my PC at 60. Or even like Metro, for example, because you bought Metro, the Redux collection.
Yeah,
and
I got that. The GTA 5 with the bundle, and what was the other thing I got? One more thing. I got, shit, I can't remember, but I got them during Black Friday of that, so it was like $26 for the Metro collection.
Yeah, I was gonna say like about Metro because on PS3, Last Light, and also 2033 on 360, they were both 30 frames a second, 720p, while on PS4 they're both at 60 frames a second. And if I would make you play both the PS3 version of Last Light,
oh yeah, I'm sure I can notice the difference because
totally
60 frames bothers my eyes because I'm not used to it. I'm sure I'll get used to it. It doesn't bother my eyes in a negative. And when I say that, I don't mean in a negative sense. I mean it as in it's.
You're not used to it.
Yeah, it's noticeably different.
Something new.
Yeah, it's noticeably different. I'm not saying oh my god, 60 frames, I can't play this shit.
Yeah, it's just something you don't experience often, so you don't really expect it. You're like, when you say you're like, whoa, it's more like a surprise.
Yeah.
And a negative
Though
feeling.
it certainly looks weird as fuck on YouTube when I'm watching like H.C. Bailey's Let's Play of Super Mario RPG. Like, I'm watching an old Super Nintendo game in 60 frames now.
Well,
this is
technically,
weird.
most Super Nintendo games were at 60 frames a second. That's how the game ran. Well, technically, it ran at 60 hertz. That's a different. It's the same. It's a similar concept.
I'm just saying it makes Mario look like he's moving much faster. It looks odd to me because I grew up and played with that game, so.
It actually looks like the game when I played it when I grew up too. I used to play Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo when I was younger, and also Sonic on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And when I look online, it doesn't look the same as what it used to look like. And I still have a Genesis, and if I hook it up right now to my TV,
No, obviously I haven't played it in a long time. I still have a copy of it. Sadly, it's not my original copy though, because back in I had that time period where you have no money, you're young, you can't get anything. You look at that pawn shop.
5 years ago.
What?
That was me like 5 years ago.
Oh. That was me like when I was like 12.
I never really got a whole lot of stuff, like personally, because I'm not the richest guy in the world. But now that I got like a job, that kind of stuff, I'm getting.
Yeah, see, back when you're a kid, you rely on your parents and whatever limited ways you got to get money or sell your old stuff.
Yeah, all I was getting was like $20 for mowing the lawn, and I would use those $20 on my Wii, my Nintendo Wii, and not for like a retail game. I would get virtual console games.
No, actually, I never thought about that. When younger kids with less income, when at least the companies are actually, selling the digital version cheaper, as in the same fucking price. But man, I don't know where that EA cough came. Oh, I mean, cough came. but yeah, I never really thought about that. That might encourage younger people to actually buy digital forms of the game just because it's more affordable for them. Because unlike me, who's I work at a factory, so I make some buckaroos. So usually buying. Well, if I drop in $200, like at least as a minimum a month, if not more, on video game electronics, can pay when I own a car and I not in any form of debt at all. I would think I'm doing somewhat all right. Not to sound like I'm bragging or anything.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add. Actually, I forgot. Because
sorry.
Yeah, someone with a lower income, like oh yeah, I remember now. Like you said that people would get the digital release because it would be cheaper. In fact, where I'm from, I'm originally from Quebec, Canada, and I can definitely vouch for that because like a lot of prices for the PS4 game, let's say Alien Isolation, okay, that specific game, because my brother really wanted it and he bought it digitally, and it was $59.99 Canadian dollars. Sold digitally. But if he wanted to buy the retail version in Canada, in Quebec, specifically in the city of Montreal, he would actually need to spend $74.99.
And I tell you, a lot of different countries have way too high prices on fucking electronics.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that the retailers the stores are purposely jacking up that price because you could get the same game on Xbox One for $58. In fact, he saw the same game, brand new, for $52 on Xbox One. It was $75 on PS4. So basically, what's going on in Canada is that the retailers, the stores, are jacking up the prices without the behalf of the the game studios.
Well, if they're a second-hand kind of mom-pop store, technically they can do that.
It's not a second-hand store.
If it's like GameStop or Walmart and stuff,
Future Shop,
that's a lot more gray area-ish.
Yeah, those are all major retailers doing that, which is totally wrong. I think just jacking up the price is like, oh, it's a PS4 game, it has better graphics, we got better jack it up. In reality, it's just because the PS4 sold so much in Quebec that they people want it.
That really reminds me a lot how I feel like people in America, like, I haven't heard it for quite a while, but I know, like, several years ago, like, there's always this point in time, usually, and I'm sure it'll happen again sometime during this generation. People bitch that games cost too much. Oh my goodness, $60 a pop, it's too much. It's like, games have not...
people?
Go ahead.
I can see for some people, but back then you can also do, like, I will also like I agree with you, like that people who complain about that might complain a little bit too much, but in some way I disagree like a little bit, like in one way because some people really don't have the cash and they
Oh
want
yeah,
the
but keep in mind I'm also referring just to America, not foreign countries,
yeah,
where
that's I
usually it
know,
pays more.
but I definitely know that's only in the United States. But the thing is also the counter argument, which actually complements what you're saying, is that games nowadays are technically cheaper than ever before because of inflation.
Yeah, I was going to say, games haven't really experienced inflation, really. I mean,
They have not.
if you were to take into account inflation, like I think the last time anyone did a math behind it, like if games were experiencing the whole inflation shit,
Get an NES
like
game
they would be like
nowadays.
$130 a pop instead of fucking $60. It's like,
Jeez.
Willie, you should be thankful they fucking haven't went up to like $80 or $100 of that. Now,
Yeah,
it definitely sucks that a lot of the quality has went downhill, like with Ubisoft's Watch
also,
Dogs and
we always got
Assassin's.
Shovel Knight. Let's be honest. Shovel Knight is here to stay.
Oh, Shovel Knight's awesome. Sequel
Yeah.
better have co-op. There better be a Sun Knight in it too.
Yeah, I like Shovel Knight is the epitome of quality. It is the QA
It's
for
it's
this game.
almost a perfect game. My most horrifying, terrifying, hideous truth. The worst thing about Shovel Knight is there was no Sun Knight. The represent Dark Souls fan base. That's my worst complaint.
There is no sun. For
There's
me,
no Sun Knight to be praised.
who knows? Maybe one day they'll be like, let's add a Sun Knight.
The Belly.
But,
Well, I mean, considering the whole kind of file put the bonfire kind of thing going on, I was kind of sad they didn't reference Dark Souls more because I mean, the Kickstarter page they said it was inspired by Dark Souls, so I really feel like the bonfire thing was kind of inspired by it. And then, of course, the whole money where you die, your money stays there, like the
I don't
souls.
recall that it was inspired by Dark Souls because the idea of losing souls after you die would definitely did not originate from Dark Souls. That's
Oh
actually
no! I'm not saying that that's the original concept. I'm just saying that's where they were inspired by. But I'm not saying, oh, Dark Souls was the first people to do this, so it's copyright trended. You do this, they sue your fucking ass.
Oh no, that's actually not what I mean. I mean like, I don't really think that if had the maybe they saw Dark Souls like, hey, that's just like the other games that did in the past. Maybe that'd be a cool idea to have something.
Well, I mean, they
similar.
said they were inspired by Dark Souls in the Kickstarter, so those are the only two things that I really think are like from Dark Souls. So I don't know what the hell else could have been inspired from Dark Souls.
Yeah, because I don't recall them mentioning Dark Souls. I'll have to look.
Yeah, it was on the Kickstarter. I kickstarted the game. They said it was inspired.
I probably missed it. That's probably what happened.
Believe me, I'm a big Dark Souls fan here. So I mean, when I was like, ooh,
Praise the sun.
well, yeah, and it's kind of my stick.
Everyone praises the sun. Probably a little bit too much, but oh well. But yeah, I mean, it's really funny when a AAA game gets beaten by an indie game in terms of quality.
Yeah.
It's like I bought Shovel Knight 3 times. That's how much I loved it. I have like the Wii U version, I have the PC version, and the 3DS version.
And just
I'm-
think there's more content to come. Okay, here we go.
There's more content to come, but even if they never got that extra content in Shovel Knight,
Wait, the last line.
it would still be a satisfying game.
Last line. Okay, so they use may remind you. But I would still take that in the same context of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, for me, my biggest gripe with Shovel Knight were just tiny little things. It's like, you can't jump off ladders if you do a diagonal. Like, if you hold a diagonal key,
Yeah.
it doesn't let you jump off.
I
Off,
used
like,
it as a
Mega Man.
controller. I didn't use a keyboard, so...
Oh no, I mean like any keys, like even a controller. If you
Okay.
if you hold the D-pad or the keyboard, whatever, in a diagonal position, you can't jump up the ladder unless you're just pointing straight left or straight right. That's like a little gripe that I have, but other than that, that's like they could just update the game and fix that, and it's not even that big of an issue. And I like if you want to know how much I love Shovel Knight, I did the speed run achievement to beat it under an hour and 30 minutes.
Damn.
And I never upgraded my health. I beat the entire game without dying and never upgraded my health. And I got through New Game Plus to the second last stage without ever upgrading my health. I still have 4 health points on the boss rush stage on New Game Plus. And I don't use any relics, and the only armor upgrade I have is a gold armor because it's useless.
Damn.
I can beat.
Now do Cave Story.
I'm like good at Shovel Knight. I can just do ridiculous stuff. I even beat. If funny enough, the hardest boss for me in Shovel Knight on New Game Plus was not what's his name? It was not Propeller Knight. It was not. I'm just blanking.
Well, if I was going to say
Polar Knight. It was not Polar Knight. It was freaking Plague Knight. Plague Knight just jumps everywhere, and it took me forever to beat him on New Game.
Yeah,
Plus.
I guess if you weren't using relics, he would be hard because relics made him easy.
Yeah, because I don't use relics and I don't use potions. I never heal myself throughout the entire fight. So, and I beat him on New Game Plus after many tries. He is tough because you gotta really memorize how the heck he attacks, how he throws a thing. Because every bosses have this random way of moving, but they have the attacks. Where you just gotta coordinate yourself to these attacks so you can avoid them but still hit the boss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of good at Shovel Knight. I'm not gonna brag about it because there's people that are probably better than me. But hey, I guess that's a pretty good accomplishment for getting through New Game Plus without ever upgrading your health, never using any relics on bosses, and getting to the boss rush. The boss rush is gonna be one hell of a ride. That thing's hard.
Well, I was going to make a joke that you always just did brag about, but the opportunity for that always got missed, so.
But yeah, I absolutely love Shovel. It's funny because I tell everyone, buy Shovel Knight, buy Shovel Knight, buy Shovel Knight, and nobody listens to me. It's kind of like, why are you not buying Shovel Knight? It's amazing.
It is. It's really sad how. And it's definitely one of the most successful Kickstarters to me. I mean, a lot of people say Tim Schafer's, what was that damn game?
Shovel Knight, Game of the Year, 2014, every year.
Well, I wouldn't say every year. It'd end up like Assassin's Creed or something if it was every year.
No, because Shovel Knight is that good.
Companies get rich and then fat-ass CEOs come in and start waving their, I know better than you, dicks.
I'm just saying the same game every year. It's always a
well then it just get boring then.
It's always Shovel Knight because it is that good.
I mean, sure, it'd be nice to revisit it every once in a while, but if you played it non-stop every year, all the time...
I'm gonna get the Vita version for sure. Again, yes, I'm gonna get a second portable version because the Shovel Knight was meant for the Vita.
I don't know, to me, the Wii U version looked really interesting.
Yeah, the Wii U version is great too, but I mean on the portable level.
And again, that also has another thing that reminds me of Dark Souls, where you leave messages on the Miiverse.
Yeah, that's also cool on the Wii U version with the Miiverse, but I never paid attention to it because I don't care for Miiverse. But if you like that kind of stuff in Dark Souls, I do think that.
And the game isn't that hard to really figure out versus some of the things where it actually Joey is useful in the Souls games. But, then again, a little more advanced players, that probably more useful for, lesser advanced and that,
Yeah, but one thing is that Miiverse actually helps you. They do have helpful tips depending on where you are in the stage. It keeps changing up to where you are. And some of them say, hey, there's a secret there. But I don't look at them. I don't have them on.
I pretty much found all the secrets. I'm sure there are a few that I missed, but I'm pretty confident I found most of them.
Same here. But yeah, the reason why I said that Shovel Knight is meant for the Vita, I'm not saying it on a console level. I'm saying it on a portable level. Like the 3D.
Yeah, because the 3DS version doesn't use the Meeple, so that aspect's out.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't use it, but again, for someone like me, I don't care for it, so I don't really
yeah,
mind. But for you, I
and
think
you'd get, at least I would hope you would get better graphics out of the Vita, so you don't have the argument with the social aspect of it, so
well, the
you just
graphics.
left. Hmm?
Believe it or not, on 3DS, the graphics are pixel perfect. They're the same as the Wii U version, and they fit the screen. They're not like blurry. They're nothing. They're sharp, clear. They fit the widescreen. They're meant for the 3DS screen. And the reason why I'm kind of complaining about the 3DS version because it's not a bad version. It's actually a really good version for portable for people who own a 3DS. The problem is the fucking D-pad and the circle pad. The D-pad is stiff as hell on the 3DS, and let's be honest, playing a 2D game with a circle pad on the 3DS not gonna work, especially when you gotta do down stabs all the time. And if you ever use the Vita, the D-pad on the Vita is freaking fantastic. And that's why I'm saying that you probably will be able to do more complicated speedruns on the Vita than on the 3DS, hands down, thanks to that better D-pad.
Alright.
Yeah, because I got 3 Vitas. I'm trying to sell one, and I can definitely tell you that if on both the older model and the newer model, the Vita, the D-pad on both are great, and that's why I think Shovel Knight is is a perfect game for that platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Vita owners, buy it when it comes out. Just buy it. Just do it.
Well, I mean, I would go whatever hell system you want to get on, just get on something.
I'm getting all of them. Except the PS3 version.
See, it's not on any of Microsoft's stuff, is it? I don't think it is.
It's not. Which Microsoft, step it up. I mean, I know they have like the deal with Tomb Raider, but every other deal they're just losing out. I know some of them might be temporary deals, like it's like, oh, it's an exclusive for a year because
yeah, but apparently there's more e-drama about the Tomb Raider thing now, because apparently I only saw 2 articles of it. I didn't read them, but what?
It's published by Microsoft.
Yeah. Which, if that's the case, then that would mean it actually is going to be a Wii U exclusive.
Yeah,
but,
and I don't know why people are pissed off, because look at Bayonetta 2. That was published by Nintendo. It's a Wii U exclusive, and you know what? It's a fucking amazing game.
But the thing is with Bayonetta 2 is Nintendo threw money at it, which I'm sure that's what Microsoft's doing, but they were open about doing it. And I'm sure Microsoft is throwing money at, but I don't think they're necessarily. Go ahead.
I was saying they are giving money. They are the publisher. That's what a publisher does. They say, "Hey, we give you this."
But I mean, Nintendo was. I think it's the idea that Nintendo was more open about working with the beta people, while Microsoft's just, here's money, just fucking do it. Like, we don't want to do anything, just, here's 50 grand, fucking put it on the Xbox One, thanks.
I don't really understand, because that's what both publishers do, they both give money.
I'm just saying, I think that's the mindset of the people who are mad, I mean...
Well, people were mad that Bayonetta 2 was going to be...
Yeah, there were people who were mad about that, which them... Nintendo... See, the thing with Bayonetta 2 is Nintendo was the only person who wanted to actually help with Bayonetta 2. No, Sega didn't want... Sega was not interested in it. So, technically, if Nintendo didn't do it, Bayonetta 2 would probably not even existed.
Exactly. They're not only the publisher, they're also the producer. Basically, like a producer. They're giving the money and that kind of stuff to...
you could say that might be kind of what I'm saying. Well, they're actually helping in it, while Microsoft's just offering money. I'm just saying that might be the mindset for some people.
Well, maybe Microsoft's doing the same thing for Tomb Raider.
They could. Like I said, they haven't. Nintendo's been more open about what they were doing. Microsoft isn't, so everyone's putting their tinfoil hats on. And they're just like, oh, they're just throwing 50 grand at them and that,
I do agree that they should disclose it as a company. They definitely should disclose that to the consumer. Do they have to? I don't think they have to.
No, they don't
That's
have
good.
to. I'm just
No.
saying. See, the issue with internet communities, in my opinion, is when you don't talk about what you're doing, you get people putting their tinfoil hats on, and when something goes wrong, they'll just, they go even crazier with the tinfoil conspiracies, and then I just kind of feel like that at the moment with that's what's going on with a lot of people. And at the same time, another note is, well, Square Enix isn't in the position where the Platinum Games is, where they can't put their game out without assistance. I mean, Square Enix has the power to release the game, which is probably the other driving force that's pissing people off. I mean, I know Angry Joe was incredibly furious about...
Like, I can understand Angry Joe's anger, but honestly, I'm gonna say buy a freaking Wii U. That's...
No, I mean with
suck
Tomb
as it
Raider.
is.
We're talking about Tomb Raider here.
Oh, I mean,
Because
Tomb Raider.
Square Enix can publish the game on systems.
Yeah,
Platinum Games is not a big company. They need a publisher. They're not a big enough company to do their own games that way. So I think that's kind of the additional angle on top of Tomb Raider. Because it's like, well, Square Enix can publish it. Why do they need Microsoft?
Maybe because... I don't know. Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix spent too much on the first Tomb Raider, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I talked about that with Lumina as well, how they kept constantly bitching that they didn't make enough money, even though, it's always busted tons of awards, became platinum, or best hits, or whatever and shit, but, we didn't make enough money, we still didn't make up for making it.
In order to make more money, they gotta release a new version on PS4, because they couldn't...
And again, that's probably more shit that's upsetting people, because they just feel like they're selling out their fan bases that are on different systems.
But another thing I hated about the PS4 version is just how Lara Croft looks. She looks like a freaking doll. She doesn't look like a regular, good-looking woman. That makes sense. She looks like she has Botox injected in her face. You look at her, she's like puffy cheeks.
My dad played the old Tomb Raider games. I haven't really played any of them. I'm not really into Tomb Raider personally.
I used to play Gex, which was also by the same company.
I'm a little familiar with that one, but I've never played that either.
But yeah, I can honestly understand why people will be pissed that Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be an Xbox One exclusive because Microsoft is the publisher. But at the same time, if there wasn't exclusives, there would be no reason to buy it.
Exclusives are needed so the console... Because, I mean, like, I got a PS4 because Bloodborne's an exclusive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I got a PS4.
A PS4 if Bloodborne is good. If it is not good, because I never say, oh, it's gonna be good. I never say that. I say if it is.
And
good,
that is the wiser choice. Admittedly, that is the wiser choice. But I still have faith in FromSoft. FromSoft has at least not screwed me over yet. I mean, if they keep getting big and big and bigger and more popular, I'd be more afraid of bigger CEOs getting in there. I always call that Apple II syndrome. You want to know why I call that?
I know I've been tricked by the freaking iPhone. I have an iPhone 5C, and I freaking regret it. I want to get rid of it and get an Android phone.
And that's a no. Apple II syndrome.
People will hate me for saying that, but I just can't get around the Apple ecosystem. I hate the operating system. I find it buggy. I find it oversimplified, locked down. I cannot stand it. I have an Android tablet. I have an NVIDIA Shield tablet, if you heard of that.
I don't know anything about modern Apple. I'm talking about shit when DOS games were still popular.
Oh, DOS. That was a very different time.
Exactly. That's the the Apple II syndrome. Apple II syndrome. Okay, so the Apple II is what put Apple...
Apple II home computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Apple II is what put Apple in business. And that's when CEOs and corporate people started walking in, and it stopped from being a bunch of people in a garage. It started being a bunch of business suit people. They tried to kill the Apple II so many fucking times, and yet it just walked over whatever the fuck they made, be like, oh, hey, what a small little computer. Here, let's show you what a real one's like, and that's because it had so much software, and it just had so much established shit that it was like, why should I upgrade to this thing for this much money when this thing gets the job done, has all this shit all the way on it and stuff.
Okay, I see, I understand.
And that's what I call Apple II syndrome, is where you get to the point where you hit it big, you get all the suit people in thinking they're all big shit, and they just fuck shit up.
Yeah, because they were still a relatively small company at the time.
Yeah, they were just like, what, 5 people that made the Apple I and Apple II? They were just like a group of 5, 6 people. That's
Apple Lisa.
They were just a bunch of garage people, really. They had no... Like, the original Apple I was brought to, like, some conference thing. It wasn't even a sellable product. It was something they literally made. The Apple... If I'm remembering all this correctly, the Apple I never was commercially sold. The Apple II was the first thing they commercially sold and put them on the map, and, then West Story. But my point is, like, when you get really big, I feel like, you get all the corporate lazy fuckers who...
Also, when you get really big, it's really hard to organize everything.
You kind of end up with, like, Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, Unities, when you don't put in effort.
We can't really say what happened. Yeah, like, we're not sure if it's really...
I'm just saying, I feel like you get less of the people who care, because they'll either be suppressed like KJ Ufune was in Capcom, or they'll just leave like most of the people in Squaresoft did, and KJ and Fune were just like, fuck you, I'm just gonna go take my shit somewhere else. And you leave them as a shell.
Yeah, and ever since stuff like that happened and a lot of companies just lost it, Capcom is actually really bad financial...
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, let's see, they pissed off the Resident Evil guy, and he left, and Keiji and Fune left, and they fucked up every fucking Mega Man fan worldwide.
Basically, they just kept doing rather rubbish releases and just did very bad practices, such as having DLC right.
Oh yeah, and then there's all the fucking DLC costumes, Capcom versus Marvel versus Capcom 3, and the Ultimate Edition, whatever the fuck it was.
Like, I don't know. I think Capcom. The only thing that's holding up Capcom right now is Monster Hunter in Japan.
Yeah, pretty much. Monster Hunter is probably the only thing banking them money at this point, because they basically fucked everything else. They destroyed Dead Rising. They killed Mega Man. Basically, nobody cared for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, especially after they made the new version that had no compatibility with the previous version and all that shit. Pissed more people off that way.
$60.
And of course, continuing the Street Fighter hoarding out, and...
Street Fighter 5 being, for some reason, not on the Xbox One. It's kind of like, let's...
Yeah, that's...
Sony, hey, Capcom, I want to pay you to keep Street Fighter 5 on our platform, but it's okay if you put it on PC. It's going to be an exclusive, in quotes. And when I saw that, I was like, that's such a stupid deal. Because, if people don't want to play, if, like, people are still going to get it on PC, the only place to get it, like, if it was only on PS4, I would get it, why they would have done it. But now it's on freaking PC!
Well, there was a lot of variety on the PC, but the issue, I think, is with the Xbox One is it's the worst-selling console right now, especially when you're only looking at Japan. But, I mean, I'm not sure about its current standing right now, but, I mean, for a good while, even the Wii U was basically kicking its fucking ass. So, if you're just looking, especially... Just because here's what's really sad if you're just looking at Japan. If you're just looking at Japan, not the rest of the world with the console sales, not only, of course, I mean, it's not a shock that Xbox One's the worst out of the three.
Yeah, I've seen.
That's not
I'm
shocking.
fully aware of that.
Here's what's shocking: that it is even worse than the original Xbox's sales in Japan.
Japan is very conservative, I guess, because anything that's outside of Japan, let's say,
This
like
is
the
true.
Xbox,
This is true.
they're not gonna buy it. And also, another thing that you can technically argue with is that the Xbox One's freaking huge. In Japan, space is limited.
But the thing is, I mean, even the original Xbox and the 360 had better sales
Yeah,
than the Xbox One has.
It doesn't matter how many bullet hell shooters come out on the Xbox One, Xbox 360, whatever. People are not gonna buy it. And then Cave's like, well, we're not gonna release in the States because people in the States don't play bullet hell shooters. I'm like, fuck you, Cave. I'm gonna buy it in indie shoot 'em ups.
So I wouldn't mind if they just keep them region free. Like,
Yeah.
I understand small companies don't have the funds to go everywhere in the world, so, you know, if you keep it region free, the people who are interested can just import it.
That's kind of what Cave did with the Xbox 360 version of their games.
Yeah, some of them, I do know some of the titles had region free, but there were also ones that didn't.
Especially like the only modern game that I liked from Cave that I really liked was Dodonpachi Dai Fugatsu, and that game is not region free. It's region locked. And
360's region locking shit was all confusing. And I know a lot of companies, and what's really weird is most of the Western games aren't locked, but most of the Asian games are. And I can't remember what company it was, but the worker at one company talked about how, for some reason, Microsoft pressures them, like, yeah, you need to lock it.
I'm not sure why they would pressure them. In fact, the only company that I know that currently locks their system, there's two. There's Sony with the PlayStation Vita TV.
I don't even know why they did that. That
I have no idea.
But I just meant
But Nintendo was a big culprit here.
Oh yeah, Nintendo was behind the times on that. It's like, come on.
They had the audacity to argue that region locking is meant to protect the consumer from content that would be deemed not appropriate by the consumer of a certain region. And I will counter-argue that if I buy a fucking imported game, I might as well know that there's a chance of having content that might be strange that be considered strange in my region. In other words,
also, I would think if you actually buy it, you researched it on a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know it was highly graphatized porn. Good lord, I'm so stupid.
Some people online said that you need a debit card to order it and that kind of stuff, or a credit card, which is true. But then some people said, well, kids can steal it and use it and that kind of stuff. And I counter-argue that, well, the kids steal
they can steal porn from somewhere. I mean, that kind of logic's flawed all way.
You start thinking, why would a kid buy a Japanese game unless they knew about it? Because in order to protect us from content, that's not really a good thing, because we don't want the companies to